Hi, how you doing? Welcome back to Smoking Cheltenham. Hope you're well. Right, today got a little bit of time, so we'll have a little bit of a ramble through it all. We're just gonna have like a Ante-Post roundup, so we'll suss out where we are. We'll have a flick through the races, a little chat about them. Got loads more bets to put up now because we've gone pretty light so far this year, and now we've got an on-run and no bet. The bets are starting to come a bit more. Okay. Not really doing like a weekly review today. Although some of the ones that mentioned, we'll mention them as we go through. I'll just give you my sort of thoughts on them. Okay. So flasks packed. Let's go. Right then. So we'll get straight into Ante-Post roundup. Right. Supreme. We got if one at non-runner no bet, I'll quote the top non-runner no bet price. If you want Ante-Post, I'll quote the top Ante-Post price. Okay. So Supreme, we got 2 points. Mighty Park 10-1 non-runner no bet, still tens. Arkle, we got Kopek de Boards 5 points at fives. He's 11-4. And Cargeese, we got a point each way at eights, now fives. 3 mile 6 novice handicap chase, 2 points. Shuffle the deck at 12s, non-runner no bet, that's still 12s. Turners, we got Mighty Park 3 points, 11-2 non-runner no bet, still there. And Shuttle Diplomacy, we got a point each way at 50s, now 33s. Browns, we've got the Big Western at a point at 10s, now 5s, and Wendigo a point at 20s, now 7s. Cross Country, Favre de Champdou, we got 3 points at 6s, now 5s. The Bumper, we got the Morn Rambler a point at 20s, non-runner no bet, still there. Heldham a point at 33s, non-runner no bet, still there. Mares Novice Hurdle, got Bambino Fever 5 points, 7-2, now 7-4. And Old School Outlaw 2 points, 7-2 non-runner no bet, now 3-1. Jack Richards, we got 2 points. Lovely Hurl in 16-1 non-runner no bet, still there. And a point Shuffle the deck at 10-1, no 16-1, sorry, non-runner no bet, still there. Stayers, we just got Marchand 2 points at 8s, now 7s. And the Gold Cup, we've got Django Bay, a point at 20s and a point at 16s, now 5s. And a point on Spillane's Tower at 50s, now 14s. So that gives us a total of 38 points on. Recycle Bin, we've got 11 points in there. Live bets, I guess, still in there is Final Demand 5 points at 6s and King Rasco Grey. I can't remember if we had 2 or 3 points on him, and I couldn't really be bothered to look back, so I put it at 3 points at 25s. It might have been 2. If it comes down to 1 point after it all, I'll have a look. We'll have a VAR and I'll look back on that. But yeah, I'll put him down. He's in bin anyway. 3 points, 25s, Turners. Okay. So that gives us like a grand total of 49 points. We're going to get 49 points back to like break even. Okay. Right. So yeah, I mean, generally we took it a lot easier this year, and I'm kind of glad we have, because it's been pretty brutal, I'd say. Again, like, I'm glad we haven't gone like smashing into it all this year. Um, so I'm quite happy how we've done it. The chances of getting our money back there, I don't know. I mean, just going through it quickly, say, right, realistically, my expectations maybe. We'll say Marty Park's not in the Supreme, we just get our 2 points back. Yeah, we've got to get to 49 points. I think we're going to get like at least 5 points back anyway, so that makes it 42. Okay. But yes, we'll say Marty Park don't run supreme, so 2 points back. Arkle, we'll say we blow out there, Sailor Lambert takes it out. Um, Female 6 novice handicap, I think we'll be getting a 2 points back for shuffle the deck. Turners, we'll say Marty Park goes there and bombs out. Short diplomacy, we'll say it's the frame. Okay, got a point each way at 50s on him. He's going to run a big race in that, he is. Yeah, we'll give us that. He hits the frame there. The Browns, I won't swap the two there we've got. We'll say Big Westerner takes that out. If I like Big Westerner, that's 11 points back for that one. Favre de Champdou, he just goes and wins. Okay, so that's another 21 points back. We'll say we bomb out in the bumper. The Mares Novice Hurdle, one of these takes it out. We'll say Old School Outlaw. No, Bambino, it's our girl, she wins it. It's 22 and a half. Jack Richards, I think we get a point back for shuffle the deck. Maybe get a lovely Earling back too. But we'll say one back there. Mosh on 2, we'll say Teapot takes it out and we missed that one. And we'll say we bomb out in the Gold Cup as well. So I don't think being too optimistic there. I don't know. That gives us 70 points back. And we needed to get 49, so that'll be alright. Even if, say, Old School Outlaw wins instead of Bambino Fever, that'll still put us up there, you know, so it's not terrible anyway, okay. Yeah. So I think generally, we end up, I haven't looked back, but off the top of my head, I think we normally end up with about 200 points on, so you can see we have gone a bit lighter this year. We're going to maybe rectify that a little bit today. We're all going to have a few bets on today, okay. So we'll have a little chat through most of the races, and as we go along, I'll sort of give you my thoughts and I'll give you a few more bets as well, okay. Right, I think the first thing is the ground. I mean, do you remember that? I can't remember why it were now. I think there used to be this orange thing in the sky, or it might have been yellow, I don't know, I can't remember. Seems like a long time ago. Every day it's just like raining. It's like, is it just rain today, or is it like pissing it down? It's bad, isn't it? And it just made me wonder, do you know, at the weekend we let it rain, yeah, well named. Jesus, that was bad ground, weren't it? And, you know, if I knew it were going to be like that, that's the perils Ante-Post bunting, in it. You don't know what the ground's going to be. But if I knew it were going to be like that, I wouldn't have placed the bet. I did have a little bit on the winner in the end, but I still made a loss on the race. So, you know, and it just made me wonder about Cheltenham. Like, could it come up like that? And it's pretty relentless at the minute, isn't it? So, I mean, it dries out, doesn't it? Well, Cheltenham, you know, it could rain for the next couple of weeks, and then we could have a dry week, and the ground would be fine. Like, you know, you just don't really know. But the bets I've put on, I'm like conscious of the ground anyway, so I've kind of tried to go for ones that I think are going to be adaptable ground wise, or if it does come up like soft heavy, they'll be all right. Like, you know, okay. But yeah, I mean, if it came up like almost unraceable, like Newbury, where it changes the complexion a lot, doesn't it? I mean, just like, say, Champion Chase, for example. If you knew it were going to be like heavy, I don't know what price Mashbury is, like 6 to 4 or something, you'd say that's a fine bet. if you knew it were going to be that sort of ground. I'm not sure I could see Mashbury beat on that sort of ground, you know. Probably maybe go off odds on that, you know. But we don't know, do we? So, you know, we've got to bear these things in mind a bit. Okay. So, yeah. I'll have a bit of a ramble through it all then. Supreme Novice Hurdle. Yeah. Just all we got. I mean, as I mentioned before, I did back Old Park Star. But that's the other thing with doing the Ante-Post stuff. Like, the price has changed so quick. And you come back an horse and, like, you get around to doing a video, like, day after or a couple of days later, and the price is gone, which makes it a bit tricky. I'm sure you understand. I hadn't really got a strong opinion on this Supreme yet. I mean, Marty Park was the bet we had non runner no bet. I expected him to be in this 2 mile race at Punchestown on Sunday, and he's not. So that's just like cooled me a little bit on him. I'd imagine he's going there. Just if he goes to Cheltenham, I imagine it's just off the back of a maiden win. I can't see him thrown into Supreme just after one run in a maiden. I think it'll probably be Turners. I'd imagine so. I don't think he turns up here, which leaves us with like a blank canvas for the race. If we're looking at Willie, I think the one may be. He's been well back today, Marty Park. He has. Come here just after one run. I don't know. But it's not Paul's ride anyway. I'm surprised to see it's been back today, Marty Park. But what's it for Turners? Is it? It's in blue for Supreme. I'll have a look. Yeah, I didn't expect to see that, to be honest. No, he's been back for Turners as well. Okay. That's a bit confusing. I'll go back to the Supreme then. Yeah, the Leader Dallier could be Paul's ride in this. It could be. It could be Sober or something else. King Rasco, but it could be Leader Dallier. He'd be interesting. He ran behind Ballyfad at Christmas, didn't he? And he looked a different horse when he came out the time after. But it's tough to go Supreme after one run in a maiden either way. So I haven't got a strong view. I think Old Park Star is going to take some whacking for Nicky. I do. All season I've just had that in the back of my mind now, that bumper form from last year, and I'm kind of struggled to marry up what we're seeing this year with what he were last year. I know he changed stables, but he's one of them. It's like, if you don't back him and he wins, you're just like, that's been staring me in the face all year, why haven't I backed him? And if you do back him and he gets beat, you'll be like, I knew it, I knew it, you know. But I've backed him, I have. But I can play about with it, I'm not sure yet. Talk the talk. Yeah, he's had a little bit more time to think about that race at the DRF, and he probably is clearly the one to take from them three. He did have to come from off the pace, didn't he? He ran that on better ground, maybe he'd have won better, but I prefer him in the Turners, I would. I'm still not sure that they finished in a bit of a bunch there. I'm not sure. Alcaraz is coming here just off a maiden win, and it's like when they let him go, coming to last, and they ask him, it's like his head scrambled or something. Like he's very fast. I'm not sure about him. Sober Glory, we'll mention him because he ran at the weekend, but that was bad ground. He relished that. I mean, if it came up that sort of ground here, he'd be really interesting. I think if it came up sort of decent ground, I won't be so sure. I couldn't have my daddy Paddy. I just can't see him coming up the hill. I'd be a bit surprised if he goes here with Mighty Park, I would, to be honest. Idaho Sun, you can make a case for him. He didn't come down the hill in the bumper, did he? But he came up it well. But that, I don't like backing horses at Cheltenham that haven't come down the hill well, like, you know. And you go into bigger prices. I think Old Port Star is the one to beat, I do. Yeah, but I'm not putting him up just yet. I'm not. Arkle, right, yeah. All seems well at the minute. Touch wood with Kopek. I didn't read the article or anything. I saw a headline. Apparently, he's squealing and he worked really well, and the Lambo won't keep up with him. It's a big ask, isn't it, for Kopek here? But I love him, and they made the chase debut, didn't they, the same weekend, Lalamba and Kopek, and I thought there's only one Arkle horse here, you know, of the two. It was clear to me it was Kopek. But the seasons have gone very differently since, haven't they? You know, Lalamba's has gone nice and smoothly. Had another couple of runs. And Kopek's not been out again since. It's such an ask, this. I'd say it's verging on madness to back this horse now to win an Arkle. But I'm a little bit unhinged myself. If he'd had a smooth prep, I think he'd be odds on. Do you know, if he came out at Christmas and at the DRF, I think we'd be looking at an odds on shot here. You know, so it may be madness, but I'm going to keep the faith with him. We've also got a bit each way on Cargeese. I don't mind that. She did have a tough race the last day. That'd worry a little bit. Of the opposition, then Lalamba, I was impressed at the weekend. I were open company, but they're just handicappers, aren't they? Really, not even good handicappers either. Like, you know, but the way, like, halfway round, I'm like, no, it's struggling here, and then just in the blink of an eye, it was just all over, weren't it? How he came on the bridle, I just thought that was really impressive, like, you know, and I really like this horse. I think this is a top horse, this Lalamba. Only 5, got loads of improvement to come. Very like Shishkin, this horse, in the way it runs, like, you know, it's like, the thought I had with this, and I don't like doing this for Cheltenham, I just like to chill out, sit back and enjoy the races, okay. I'm going to have Betfair open for this Arkle. This is what's on my mind now. And I think, kind of like halfway round, I don't think Lalamba will look the winner. I think you'll get a bigger price on the exchanges. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to leave this halfway round. From our point of view, hopefully the Lambert's just out the race, you know. But if Kopech's there and he's doing everything well, I think you'll get a big, bigger sort of price on the Lambert. And I might, if he's out of contention, you don't have to worry about it. If he's in contention but not going like the winner, then I think I might have a little bit on the Lambert. Okay, that's so maybe an in-running play on the Lambert is a way to go with that horse. So I think you'll get, even if he wins, I think you'll get a bigger price halfway round. Okay, but there's a lot of clever people out there, so you know, I won't be the only one sort of thinking that. So you may not get as big a price as you sort of think, you know, for how the horse is positioned at the time, say. Steel Ally ran well. Romeo Coolio, yeah, chatted about him, didn't we, last time? Not for me at Cheltenham after that race last time. He's had 4 runs now, and I think good, and he's running him here to please the owners, really. I think he'd rather keep him back for Fairy House, but he made sure he got that DRF win out of him first, like, you know. Irish Panther is a lively outside, you'd say, and there's a few like Kappa J Pike if he comes here. May keep him back for Fairy House. It probably depends, you know, where he is with Kopech and Cargese. If he's happy with those two, Kappa J Pike might not even come here. Might keep him back for Fairy House because he's got a battle in his own land, hasn't he, Willie, you know. He'll want to keep something for that grade 1 at Fairy House, the 2.5 mile one. And with Romeo coming here, I guess he won't be going to Fairy House, would he? Or if he did, he's maybe not going to be at his best, like, you know. And will he'll want to take that one out. Salvador Mundy, I think Aintree, he looked so good at Aintree last year. We said all season, haven't we? Aintree for that horse, I don't think he'll come here either. So it could be a fairly small field. We're on Kopech. I like Kopech. I'm just going to leave this race be. We're done with it. Okay. Hopefully, touch when he gets there anyway, you know. Providing he gets there, I'm going to leave it be. But personally, I might have a little bit on the Lambert halfway round if he's sort of bigger price, you know. Okay. Right then. The Fred Winter. Now, it was that Fred Winter trial race, weren't it, at Naas at the weekend? And before the race, I had a look at that, and I had a little bit on Saratoga at double figures and a little bit on Munsif at double figures. And coming out of the race, I'm fairly happy with that. I think that race has produced 3 out of the last 5 winners, I think. Something like that. The winner wouldn't want discounting, Highland Crystal, if she comes here. Yeah, and that's as far as I am with the Boodles. I'm not going to put Saratoga up now at 5s. I thought he was catching, like Mark Walsh did his zigzaggy thing again on us, didn't he? And what I like about the horse as well is the first time it ran, it was like it had never seen a hurdle. It probably hadn't, and didn't jump well at all. The second time it were a bit better, but not great. And the last day it jumped a lot better, you know. But you know, 5 to 1's no price for this race, Ante-Post. So I'm not going to put him up, but he's certainly got a chance. Munsif, Charles Burns, he's back to horse of his a few years back that ran in that race, and it got beat in a photo, I think, by Jazzy Matty in this. So, you know, but just one little doubt with Munsif is he is a little keen going. I won't be sure about him travelling over to Cheltenham and all that, you know. And Highland Crystal, yeah, we'll see what marks they all get, but I won't be ruling her out of this either, you know. Right then, The 3 mile 6 novice handicap. This is where the first row bets comes in then today. Alright, Shuffle the Deck is entered for a race on Sunday, but one of our ramblers tells me there it's not over far enough to qualify into running this. So I don't think he's going to Cheltenham, to be honest. He may be going to the Irish National though, and if he is, we'll be having a bet on him for that. Okay. He may just, he's only 6, he may be more for next season. They might just sort of tread lightly a little and then go for it next season with him. Okay, but either way, as soon as this fella ends up in handicaps, we're on him. Okay, Shuffle the Deck, but it's probably not this race, so we'll probably get our 2 points back there. Now another horse that I don't know why I've not put. I know why we've not put this horse up yet, because the first time I looked at the prices, I was just a bit disappointed he was there at 10s, and he's still there at 10s. And that's Will the Wise. Now, we put this horse in the 10 to follow for this specific race. It looks like this is where he's coming, so we've got to back him. we can't not back him, have to put him in the 10 to follow for this. Bit disappointed with the price. I don't know if you're getting much at 10s, to be honest, if some of these sort of flashier types turn up. But we've got to get on the thing, so yeah, the first I bets then today is Will the Wise. Let me see what I'll put him down for. Yeah, just 2 points. 10 to 1 non-runner no bet. I think it's quite widely available. I think there's just Paddy's and Sky Bet 8s. I think everyone else is 10s. Yeah, we'll just have 2 points on him. We put him in the 10 to follow for this race. He would be 8 lengths or so in the Pertemps. That came 18 days after he'd had like a tough race in every ground, 2 miles 7, so he may not have been at his best that day either, and it weren't a bad run, to be fair. Then Gavin sent him to Cork for beginners, which is exactly what he did with Now Is the Hour the season before. And Now Is the Hour fell when challenging Haiti Calais in this, didn't he? And subsequently took out the Thyestes this year. So that's kind of why. That's a big clue, I think, to maybe this race anyway. He took out a 2 mile 2 novice chase at Galway earlier in the season, and he's thrown him into a couple of big handicaps. He got beat 7.5 in the Troytown, that one heavy, and he was staying on that day. And yeah, he was plugging on nicely, and he would beat 12.5 in the Paddy Power at Christmas at Leopardstown, which is working out really nicely. So he's got a nice bit of sort of big field handicap experience to him as well. He's got a nice cruising speed, this horse. He's going to travel, but he's got no change of gear at all. He just kind of, plods on. He'd run forever, this horse. I think he'd stay 10. I think he's going to improve for like an extreme stamina test. Soft ground's got no fears. You don't need to worry about the ground if it comes up like good to soft or heavy. That's fine. I'm not sure his handicap marks 138. He's being campaigned fairly so honestly, I'd say, this season. I don't think he's going to take unkindly to him, the handicap. I can't see him getting more than 2 here, so I think he'll be 140 max. I don't think he'll put him up more than 1 or 2. I'd say he's like a solid each way bet for this. I would. I'd struggle to see him out the frame here, but we'll get the 2 points on the nose. Okay, but yeah, you might want to consider him each way. Yeah, that's him then. I mean, others in the race, Warpark's here, isn't he? Yeah, it's one of them JPOs. It's top price 5-1 for this. May get in, may not get in. You know, handicapper dropped him £1 for his run at the weekends, 142. So he may well get in. He might not. Um, the British handicapper tends to take a little bit notice of the hurdles rating. You know, I suspect he might not get in, but you don't know. But even if he does, he's short enough for me at the price he is. And yeah, back me a sat me Wade out, Newton Tornado, Argento Boy. I'd like he's rated 144. I can't see him getting in. I think he'll get more than one. You know, yeah, plenty of interesting horses there, but we have to be on this Will the Wise. Okay, we can't not be on him. So it's a bit of a no-brainer that one. Okay. Right, the ultimate. Not really looked at that. Jaguar 5-1. Oh, if that's a shocking price, isn't it? Warpark 7-1. There's a theme here, isn't there? A green and gold theme with these handicaps. It's like, yeah. Champion Hurdle, we've got no bet there yet. My thoughts at the minute, presuming Lozzie goes mares, she probably will. I'm sure she probably will. But presuming she does, if it came up really heavy testing ground, we're kind of quite quick to write off Brighter Days Ahead. Maybe if it came up like heavy, I'd give her a chance. She's just like a big, strong, galloping type. But if you're nailing me down at a minute, I'd say the New Lioness. I would. He's solid there at the front of the market. He's only got beat the 170, and that was when he fell. I think he's the one to beat. He is just favourite in the top price, 11-4. It's not. And Golden Ace is the other one. I think I can't believe we're actually here and we're talking about Golden Ace doubling up, but she's got some Cheltenham records. She has, and even if Stateman had stood up last year, she'd have lost by maybe three or four. 3 or 4 lengths behind Stateman's probably good enough to take this out. He's going to put you bang there. So, I'd have to generally be against Brighter Days Ahead. I would. And Constitutional might run, probably run, but I was against him last year, and I'd be the same opinion again. Like I just couldn't back him myself, but I'm not saying he can't win, but I couldn't be backing him. Lozzie probably don't run, I mean, looking at it, you could probably do worse than just backing the New Lion and Golden Ace right now. You're gonna, when you sit down to watch the race, you're gonna have two really live chances there. Like that's where I'd be at the minute on those two. Yeah, I'd probably sort of split my stakes into some degree between those two. I think the play. Personally, I followed Mark on his Cheltenham chat video. He put on Medora. I saw that video. Didn't even look at the form. I just thought, yeah, it sounds alright, that Mark. And I'll be honest, I just chucked 25 on it, like. But with double figures then, 15-2 now. I've not really had a look at the race, but Skelton, it's been laid out for this, it has. So it's going to go close, but Mark took all the big prices though. But it's going to go close. And to be honest, 15-2 is not a terrible price. If it wins, you'd be happy with that. And I'd probably start shorter, but that's a race I haven't really got into yet. So we'll go to Wednesday. Coral Cup. done out with that yet. Turner's novice hurdle then. Right, so where we here? We got 3 points on Mighty Park, 11 to 2 non-runner no bet. I wanted to see him in that Punchestown race. Willie's done this before. 5 for 3. Took this out on the back of a maiden win. So if anyone's going to do it, Willie's going to do it. What I said stands with that. I can't get that thread out of my head. I'm happy to have a few points on him there if he turns up at the price. But I don't think the price... You can argue the price is terrible, I think. But I won't want to be laying it at the same time, if you know what I mean. He's a proper horse, he is. He's proper. I think this Mighty Park looks a really great open race, this. It's going to be fun, this. We've got a point each way on Shuttle Diplomacy at 50s. I like that bet. I do. I don't care that he's only rated 133 coming here off a maiden. In my heart of hearts, I think he's probably not going to win, but I just think he's going to run a massive race, and I can see him in a frame. I can. I'm not going to get too much into just like babbling through it all, but it, you know, we've got a little bit of wiggle room still, you know, with that race, so we'll have a little bit more of a look at it closer to the time, and we may end up back in something else, or having a bit more on one of those. Okay. But yeah, I don't mind the bets there. Mighty Park's a bit short, if I'm being honest, but I want to be on the horse, okay, and Short Diplomacy is a bit big, and I'm glad we're on him each way. The Browns, yeah, he's in the bin, Final Demand, he is, but he's still there, isn't he, at the minute anyway, and he's a short price than what we backed him at, but I binned him. One of our ramblers was saying to me, you know, it's dangerous to be writing this horse off, and he's right. You know, Jesus, remember Gaelic Warrior a few years back when he took the Arkle out? He really bombed out at Leopardstown. He looked a broken horse there, and you know, Willie got him like in some form for an Arkle. So Willie can do these sort of things, but, and I'll be honest, I did cash out all of it bar the, I think I had 40 quid that I couldn't cash out on him at sixes, and I've not traded it back either. I've kind of left it there, and I'll make my mind up near at time if he gets there. I might trade a little bit of it back, but I think I'm going to keep him on side to at least get my money back for the race, if not a little bit of profit. Okay. But looking at the race cold, I kind of like the Big Westerner. I'm half tempted to top up a bit on her because we've just got the 1 point at 10s, but she's only 5s, and I think we can afford to wait. We're not going to miss more than a point by having a little bit of time to think about the race. But the Big Western, Wendigo, one at 10s and 20s, they're nice little bets, but they're only little bets, aren't they? Wendigo will be a nice return now, and the Big Western, because I did wonder about putting a bit more on her today. You know, she's got festival form. She's got festival form. She's coming off the same sort of prep as last season. She's going to run a massive race. She is. She's only rated 143 over fences, and she was 140 over hurdles. She jumps fantastic. I'd say she's £3 better. She's more than £3 better over fences, I think. The first run she ran behind Jimmy de Soy, who I think goes particularly well fresh, and she's a big mare there. She'd take a run. So I thought that was a nice run for the first chase start. And then the second run I thought she was really impressive against Jay de Grugy. out jumped that mare and outstayed her. Just looked really good. She don't need soft ground. Well, put it this way: that one on the Albert Bartlett, that one pretty much good ground that last season, and she ran a blinder there, But she's better with digging the ground, I guess. She could go mares as well, but non-running out bet that doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's just a race. I'm not fully, we don't have to rush into things, do we? If you're not sure. Kay Doherty, I think, would want soft heavy. If it came up soft heavy, I think Kay Doherty's got a big chance. If it like good to soft, I wouldn't really fancy him. I love the horse, but that's where I'd be. Romeo Cooley, I would imagine, is going to go Arkle, and even if he came here, I just couldn't have him, to be honest. Tough race last time, and going from 2 to 3 in one whack, no. We like Wendigo. Western Fold's got a chance. You'd probably want to see the ground decent for that horse. Cocktail de Vin, I think it's a doubtful stayer in this. Certainly, if the ground came up soft, you know, 6 Mile Bridge, not for me. I think he's more likely to go to the Jack Richards, that horse, and he's interesting for that. The horse at the weekend, I thought, did it nicely. He's in this. Oscar's brother, yeah. His top price 14s. I'd have him over a lot of them that are shorter. Like I'd have him over Romeo Coolio, maybe Western Fold. I'd have him over Cocktail de Vin, 6 Mile Bridge, and Kitspool. They're all shorter in the market, so I think there's maybe a little bit of value on Oscar's brother. You probably want non-running out bet for him. He could go Irish National. Might get some like Joystick and Argento Boy come here, but they may more likely go Irish National too. Willie needs the prize money. Yeah, not all that much more in it. Don't know. I'm leaning towards a big Westerner. I like Big Western and I like Wendigo at the minute, but we'll leave that be. Cross country, Favre de Champdou. Yeah, it just wins. Champion Chase, we've not played that yet. As I said, I think this is very ground dependent. Like if you told me that we're going to be soft heavy, I'd back Madgebury now. I would. Sort of decent ground, probably Marine National, but you can think about that another day. Grand Annual, not thought about that yet. The Bumper, not much to add there at the minute. I'm happy with those two we put on. I've had a little bit more than a point, I'll be honest, on them. I put them both up for a point, didn't I? Morn Rambler 20s non-running out bet. Held them 33s non-running out bet. I'm more like 2 points on those. But we'll leave it be at the minute. Heldham's actually entered up Sunday. It's probably about as close as you'd want to get, so that, if he runs Sunday, he could, explode into this race, Right, so that's Wednesday. Thursday then. Mares Novice Hurdle, yeah, I'm happy where we are there. No doubt there'll be a couple others, interesting, but I'm happy with Bambino and Old School Outlaw there. Last couple of years, I thought we'd been looking good going into this, and it's not quite panned out, has it? Gavin's mare last year somehow just got chinned, and the year before we got it stitched up. Really, I thought with Jay DeGrugy and the big mare Gordon's, but yeah. Um, Champion hurdle winner win their golden ace, weren't she? And she, so hopefully, third time lucky, we'll get it this year. Um, but yeah, I'd be happy with that. We'll see where we are there. Jack Richards. Um, yeah, I'll put point on shuffle the deck, non running out bet. I don't think he'll run in this, to be honest. The other one we put up may do though. Show more. Where are we? Right race here. Jack Richards. Lovely hurling. Yeah, lovely hurling. He's also entered up Sunday, I think, for 2 mile beginners. That would qualify him to run in this. We got 2 points at 16s. I'm happy to stay there. He may not be our main bet in the race, but he may end up being. I don't know. We'll see him on Sunday, maybe. If he runs there, then he could run in this. I mean, the hurdles mark of 145, which I don't think we're kind. That's the only thing. I'm not sure what mark he's going to get. Want to be a bit lower than 145, I think. So we'll see what happens Sunday with him. But he certainly wants to be on for handicaps. I think this lovely hurling, really impressive in his maiden, weren't he? Then up to Grade 1 behind Final Demand at Punchestown, and then we've seen him twice this year behind Final Demand and Kopek. Yeah. But there's loads of interesting horses in there, but I'm happy to have our 2 points on him anyway, non-running out bet 16s. Temps is not a race I've really looked at too much yet, although I do think that's say different. It's favourite, 10-1 best price. It's looked impressive to me up to now. Lovely looking horses, make a nice chaser next year. Sam Thomas has got a good chance in that, but it's not a race I've looked through much. Mares Hurdle, yeah, Lozzie Woodhoo, one of those would take it out, you'd have thought. Stayers, we've got a 2 points, haven't we, on Marchand 2 at 8, so I'm happy with that. To be honest, I'll just keep mulling it over in my mind if to go all in on Marchand 2 or like have a main bet on Teapot. And I've still not decided. In my mind, I know I can't justify this really, like in terms of the odds, but in my mind, the odds are like 6-4 Teapot and 5-2 Marchand 2, which means top price sevens. I'd favour Teapot, I would, but at that price, it's kind of tempting me to go all in on Marchand 2. I think Teapot's, yeah, if they were the same price, I'd go for Teapot, but you're getting, in my mind, that gap's too big. I know to most people it probably isn't, like, but to me it is. Okay. I think honesty policy's there with his chance. He is. Only had one run this season, only 6. I just wonder, is he sort of tough enough for this? But he's there with his chance. I won't be rushing in to back him at 7-2. I'd double the price. I'd rather have Marchand 2. Bob Ollinger, I know, Kev, I know if you're watching, I know, but he's 11, mate, and if it comes up soft and it ends up a staying test, I couldn't have him He's a legend, he is, you know. If he wins, I'll cheer him. Okay, I promise. Right. Ryanair then. Right, I went shopping at Hills the other day. I did. I went to Hills and did some shopping. And one of the big reasons for that were Gaelic Warrior for this Ryanair. They were the only ones, I think, with two's non-running out bet left, or one of the few anyway. And so I went shopping there and I had a decent bet on Gaelic Warrior at two's non-running out bet for this. I'm going to put him up here. I am. It's my thing, so I'll do what I want. I know I'm putting up a 7-4 shot here. It's top price now, 7-4. That's at non-running out bet. It's important. And that's at Paddy's and Sky bet. Yeah. To be honest, if he runs in it, I still think that's value. I do. I can see him going here odds on. Okay. I know he's only 7-4, but he won't be bigger than that. He won't. To me, fact to file, I can't imagine you win an Irish Gold Cup like that and don't run in the Gold Cup. It just doesn't seem right. I think they've got a good Gold Cup with him. And they should go Gold Cup with Gaelic Warrior. They should. But this is Willie, and if fact to file is JP's, JP and the boys will make the call with that horse. Willie will know soon enough. They'll probably make it fairly, before Willie would anyway. So Willie will know, and I think they'll go Gold Cup with him. I do. And if they went Ryanair with fact to file, Gaelic Warrior wouldn't be here, I don't think. I suppose that's a danger, isn't it? But I can't see Willie running Gaelic Warrior and fact to file in this. I just can't. So I think fact to file will go Gold Cup. I do. Gaelic Warrior should do, but this is Willie. Same connections as Lossiemouth. If fact to file's in Gold Cup, as much as Patrick's going to be in his ear, he's going to have Paul in his ear as well. And I don't think Willie could look at this race and not run Gaelic Warrior in it if fact to file's not there. I just don't think he can do it. It's just not in his DNA. I think he'll run it here. But it's not running out bet anyway, okay. The only way this goes wrong is if him and fact to file both running this. I don't see that happening, I don't. Now, he's an Arkle winner at Cheltenham, and the ground will not bother him. It can come up as soft as it likes, So I think we're fine on the ground. I suppose if it came up good to soft, you'd maybe wonder about that. Okay. But the way it's raining at the minute, I've had the bet anyway, so I'm putting it up here. It's 7-4 now, non-running out bet. We're having 8 points on him at 7-4. Okay. I do think of a peak that I suppose if you're trying to pick holes in a bet like this, if it came up good to soft, that might just worry you just a small bit. But he'd be far the best horse in this, I think he just takes it out. I just think he takes this out. I do. And I do think he was kind of trained for the King George at Christmas. I said that, didn't I? And then he's come out and he's had a pretty tough race at the DRF as well. He's got to get him here in top form, Willie. If he gets him here in top form, though, he just takes it out, doesn't he? If he runs in it, he does. I don't think 7-4 is too bad. I know it's not a pretty price, but it might look pretty on the day. So we're having 8 points on 7-4 non-running out bet. I had a little bit of change on Impera Pass at tens or something, but I'm not putting him up here. I think that only runs if like Gaelic Warrior and Fatsfal both go to the Gold Cup. Then maybe I've got bigger than tens, and then maybe he could come here as Paul's ride, and he has won at Cheltenham in the past, hasn't he? But he tends to go to Aintree. He could come here if the big two don't. I think Fatsfal will go Gold Cup, and I think Gaelic Warrior will come here. That's what I think anyway. And we're not running no bets on him. Alright, so we've kind of lumped on Gaelic Warrior a bit there. We don't go much more than 8 points. I think on occasion we've gone a little bit more than that, but yeah, it turns up. I think he just takes that out. Kim York, I've not looked at that. Jericho 4-1, Warpock 6-1. Do you know, I'm going to be against these two. I think Jericho and Warpock. I know the way you're thinking. I'm against the one last year in the Kim York. I just didn't get on with him as an horse, and to be fair, he got beat, but I was probably wrong because he probably shouldn't have done. But yeah. So then Friday, we're coming up to now. I did say we're having a ramble today, didn't we? It'll probably end up an hour and 20 or something. I don't know. Try and Firdle, right? We're doing it again. We're smashing up the short prices. This is what it's all about. Narciso has 6-4 top price, none with a no bet. So I'm on this horse already. I'm sorry it's a bit short, but we're going to have another 8 points. Narciso has 6-4, none with a no bet. We are. Grade 1 winner at Dublin last time. He took a big step forward with each run to me, and I think he probably will again. He travels, he jumps very well, he stays strongly. He's gonna take some passing up that hill. I just don't think this horse gets beat. He won on yielding at Christmas and heavy last time, so another one. The ground doesn't really matter. Probably the softer the better because he looks such a strong stayer, but he did win on yielding at Christmassy. I think this fella's bomb-proof for 2. I just can't see him getting beat, so we're having 8 points on him as well. Okay, 6-4. I think he may end up odds on. He may do, So it doesn't sound too pretty, 6-4. Can't see you getting bigger, to be honest, so we'll get him done now. And I did this at Hills as well. We'll have 2 points on the double on the shorties there. Okay, Gaelic Warrior, Narciso House. I was thinking about it anyway, just now, even at the prices we backed him at. We've got 8 points on each, haven't we? So that's 16 points. One of those wins, say the shortest one, and say Gaelic Warrior doesn't. That's 20 points back, so you made like 4 points profit. We'll stick half of that on the double, because then if they both win, you've outlaid like 18 points, haven't you? You got 20 back for Narciso Haas, 22 back for Gaelic Warrior, so that's 42, and then just the little 2 point double gives you another 12.5, does it? 2 points at 6-4 gives you 5 points at 7-4, 13 and a bit in it, so yeah. 42. You're starting to get close to 60 points back, aren't you? Yeah, why not? Okay, so yeah, it's not all about backing the pretty prices. We need some winners, okay? And I just don't see Narciso House getting beat. I don't. You want to be sat watching Try and Firdle knowing that you've got this fella on your side, you do. So we'll get that done. Slaughter me if you like in the comments, but it's my game. I play it how I like. Okay, right. I've got some pretty prices as well for you. But now, Gold Cup, you may not like this one either. But Factor Files and us, just love, right. Where we are with Gold Cup now. In fact, before Albert Bartlett, County, yeah, not going there just yet. Mayor's Chase, I haven't really had time to think much about that lately. Albert Bartlett, I'm going to take on this Dr. Steinberg, I am. I'll give Espresso Milan a good mention, didn't I, a while back. I did have a bit of change. It was like 50s or something. Do you know horse I really like in this? Just looking at him here, he's spinning a yarn. I think it's a lovely horse. Improving away. Might have a look at that. I had a little bit of change on one of Henry's. Let's go in here, King's Books, which looks a real kind of boat of a horse. Quite lightly raced, got a bit of track form. You can get, I think it was 60s on Betfair Exchange. I just had a little bit of change on that, but I'm not putting it up here. So I've got a bit of change on a couple of like big prices, but I haven't really got stuck into the race yet. But I will. I'm going to take on a favourite anyway, so we'll take that favourite on, okay? So we're not just going to back all the favourites, we're going to take that one on. The Gold Cup, yeah, I like our little bets here. I mean, we've got a lovely bet on Django Bay. I rate him. I think he's got a great chance here. I do. Got a little bit of 50s for Spillanes. If he turns up here, I'd be happy to just have a bit of change on him at that. That's nice. There's only two horses I'd be worried about for us here, and they are Factor File and Haiti Couleurs. Haiti Couleurs I thought was impressive again. I love this horse. He's got the track form. A lot of people saying, oh, it's not good enough for this. I'm not putting anything on him just yet because I do think he'd need like soft ground. You know, I mean, he's took out Irish National or Welsh National. If this comes up soft, like heavy side or soft, sort of soft, I want a bit on this fella. He's top price 10s there. But if it come up like good to soft, I won't be so keen and I'll probably let him go. Factor File is a horse we've kind of been with from the start. In my first year here, we had a good bet on him at, I think, 28s for that Browns. And then we kind of lumped on him last year for Ryanair. He just looked so good, didn't he, last time? On his day, he is awesome. He is awesome, this horse. Festival form, I mean, he came second in the bumper here. He took out a Browns and just destroyed him in a Ryanair last year. So impressive last time. He's got another 2 furlong to go here. You up that hill. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't. But I think if he don't, if he doesn't, I think Django Bay does. Now, to me, it don't really make sense backing Django Bay again. This is where I've been sat with race looking at it. I'm kind of between these two. On Django Bay at 20s, I've got to cover Factor File off as well. So I'm going to put him up here, 3 or 4 points. We'll go 4. We'll have 4 points on him, 7-2, non-run and no bet Factor File, okay. Irish Gold Cup winner, hugely impressively, like, you know, he comes up, yeah, I think if he stays he wins, put it that way, and if he doesn't, I think Django Bay does. So from where we're sat, it makes sense to me. We'll have 4 points on this fella at 7 to 2. That'll get us 18 points back. Just a nice sort of return. Yeah. We've got nearly 40 points back for Django Bay and 50 for Spillane's Tower. And we've only had like 7 points on the race. If it came up soft, we'll chuck a point on Ante-Post as well. We'll just hang fire with that, even if it's like 7s or something then. Okay, we'll keep an eye on how the ground's shaping up for that one. But that'll be the only other one. Do you know I'm sort of soft? We've seen horses like in that ilk take out a Gold Cup before when it turns out really soft. Like when you're looking like a horse you want for like you need to stay 3.5 miles sort of thing, you know, he'd be one of the few in here. But yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'm in 4 points back to file 7 to 2 anyway, and we may just have a small bit on Ante-Post on the day, and I'm really happy with that Gold Cup. Okay, and then the last race then. Okay, so we've had a little run of putting, I think we've had 3 favourites in a row there, haven't we? 2 at less than 2s. So we'll have a bit of fun with this race, Martin Pipe. I always back too many here. Okay, I'm going to limit myself to 3. And I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing because we're going in early here with these 3. And I know nearer the time there'll be some JP thing. There's always a JP thing that gets smashed up, like, you know. I'll probably end up having it on side. Yeah, a little weakness of mine this race, but I've got a good record in it. We do well in it anyway. I think last year I had first, 3rd and 4th. Right. Now, I mentioned 2 last time I did the video, didn't I? And I said I'd probably back these today maybe, and I did. Right. First one we'll do is Rock Dino. Yeah, I just had a point on that horse. It's been clipped a bit now. Best price is 12 to 1. None and a no bet at Hills. So we'll have a point on that. Blue's here. She's going to want to go out in a minute. Yeah, came on massively, I thought, for his run behind Mighty Park. He did, didn't he, Blue? To only go down 3 lengths behind Al Kairos. So you were flattered by that, but I liked how he kind of stayed to the line there. Another one, the ground doesn't matter. I don't think he's rated 124. Now, I've looked into this. The last 3 years, the sort of bottom weight, you've been rated 126, 122, and 126. Prior to that, you were wanting to be in the low 130s. Right, give me 1 sec, I'll let her out. Yeah, but they've messed about with the race, haven't they? And I think like there's probably quite a few sort of novices that haven't had the 5 runs that can't go in it. So I'm kind of thinking 126 will probably get you in the race again. I'm sort of hoping anyway. Okay with these. But we're on the non-running out bet anyway with this Rock Dino, so it's fine. Rated 124. I'm sure the English handicap, he tends to have a bit of a swipe at the sort of lower rated hurdles runners from Ireland. You know, they're the ones that get the sort of 6 and 7s. Like I think he'll put this up 5 or 6. This Rock Dino, you know, he's going to end up 129, 130. I think he'll get in fine. If El Kairos goes close in that Supreme, this fella could end up very short. And yeah, I think the way he ran last time to me suggested he could improve for a step up in trip. Um, so yeah, we'll have a point on him. You may have backed these already because I did mention them the other day. Um, the passing wife. This is one of the ones I backed when I went shopping at Hills. But at the moment, Hills have just cut it today, but 365 at 12 to 1 on running out bet. At the minute, they've boosted it to 20s Ante-Post. So I add a little bit on that as well. So can't add a little bit more than. The thing is with this Martin Pipe, right? If you get on the right horses, you can. If you play about with exchanges and stuff, you can overbet these horses and get quite a few of them on side on the day and like lay bits back at short, and you can end up in a nice position, you know. So you can overbet them if you're getting the prices and lay them back. But for our purposes, we'll just have 2 points. I feel like I'm cheating a bit if I put it up at 20s with this boost at 365, okay. But I've had a bit on that, and I've backed it at 12s already. But I feel like I was cheating a bit if I did that, so I'll just put it up at 12 to 1 non running out bet, okay, at 365. We'll have 2 points on that. Medics Hurdle's debut behind the Devil You Know and Skylight Hustle. Now, the Devil You Know went on and took the grade 2 out at Donny, and Skylight Hustle took a grade 1 out at Leopardstown. If you're like me, you can't resist having that Trixie, because they've all got chances of sorts, you know. Now, if you do it today at 365, right, and you do it on the Ante-Post, although, you know, Skylight Hustle's 8 to 1 for a Turner's Ante-Post at 365. Or 7's non-running out bet, whatever your preference. You could get 10s for the Devil You Know for the Albert Bartlett, or 8's non-running out bet. And the passing wife, you're on at 20s Ante-Post, or 12's non-running out bet. That relatable form, isn't it? I mean, the Skylight Hustle could yet be like my bet in the Turners. If Skylight Hustle goes in the Turners, these two are going to shorten up a lot. Like, and I couldn't resist having a little Trixie on those three. So if you like me with that sort of thing, you might want to have that if you've not had it already. Yeah. Then after that, it went down by a length and a half in the Grade 2 Royal Bond, came third there, finished like a train that day, like that was 2 mile. Bombed out at Christmas, you can give him a pass for that, you know, plenty of Gavins have had a run like that. Then just a few weeks ago, weren't it, went to 2 mile 3 maiden, just absolutely laughed at Dr. de Menil, very impressive there, just travelled everywhere, looked to relish a step up in trip. That Royal Bond run were on like decent ground. It's won on good ground. Last time it were heavy ground, so another one the ground doesn't matter. Okay, looked to relish a step up in trip last time. Rated 139. It's got grade 2 form. You know, it's got graded form this horse already. Rated 139. I imagine English will get like 3 or 4, I'd imagine, so low 140s for him. And then to finish it off, we've got to have a pop at one at a nice price, haven't we? So if you've got this far, right, now this one has a little bit of risk attached for the Ante-Post price, but it's a big price. And I mentioned this horse, you may remember at Christmas time, Los Blanco, right, for Henry de Bromhead. Now this horse, we're going to have a point each way on him at 25's non-running out bet. That's, I think, generally available, I think. And he's 40 to 1 Ante-Post with, I think, like Paddy's and Betfair and Sky Bet. Okay. We're going to have a point each way on him at that as well. and that is a little bit of a risk, but it's such a pretty price, isn't it? I must admit, right, I backed this horse at 25s each way, and then I thought, what price is he on running out? What, just Ante-Post? And when I saw the 40s, I backed him again. So yeah, so we got a point each way at 25s, non-running out bet, a point each way at 40s Ante-Post, which is a risk, okay, because he's rated 122, so he needs a bit of help from the handicapper. I think he'll get it though. I think he'll get put up like 6 or so to like 128 ish, and I'd be hoping that just scrapes him in near bottom at weights, okay. But if you don't want to take that, just take the 25s, okay. Still a pretty price. It's just me being a bit greedy, maybe. Okay. Now it's Henry de Bromhead. I think this is the plan for him. You know, last year we won Tap on the Go, and I don't think I actually put up Raglan Road, but I gave him a big mention. I won him at like 66s or something. They came third and fourth. The year before, he went close with Waterford Whispers, came second, you know. He had 2 runs in maidens last year. First time up this year, he ran behind Marjack's Hill. He ran fairly close to that horse. Then he came third to Well You Know, giving that horse £10, who's now rated 120. On bits of his form, although you'd say they'd improved, you know, on bits of his form you'd say he's quite well handicapped, this horse. I'm sure he is. So I'm fairly sure the English will have a little swipe at him and put him up 6 or 7, which is kind of what we need. Okay, that's what I'm kind of gambling on here. And then he took out his maiden. It was 2 mile 1 at Christmas at Down Royal on yielding ground. He won that by 2 1/4. Tongue tied for the first time. Okay, and I think maybe that brought out the improvement in him there, because he didn't always look to get him the strongest, but he certainly did this day. In fact, he kind of looked outpaced and he came home strongly. That was 2-1 on yielding, yeah. Patrick O'Brien won him that day, taking 5 off. I'd imagine that weren't by accident. I'd imagine he'll keep the ride here. Third that day was Champagne Jury, who, you know, he gave £2 to and beat 5 1/4. That horse is now rated 124 and did improve for stepping up in trip, granted. But you see what I mean? His bits of his forms there. I think English will put him up 6 or 7, which is, I think Henry's kind of took the gamble there, and I'll take it with him. Okay. He's held in some regard, I think, this horse. He's gone off no bigger than 5-4 his last 4 runs. I think that tongue tie with the answer last time. Robco horse, he's better than a 1-2-2 horse, this, I'm sure he is. It's a nice looking horse. He'll make a nice chaser. Needs a little bit of luck to get in, a little bit of help from the handicapper. I think he will, but 25's not running out bet anyway. You know, you don't have to worry about any of that. Another one seems fine on the ground, you know. It's one on yielding, that run against Well You Know, one heavy, so I don't think the ground matters too much to him. It's a pretty price, so that's a 3. Henry's got another one called It's Bilbao, could come here. He's rated 135. He could come here. He's only quoted in a couple of places. He was chasing, went back thirdling. He'd been, maybe showed his hand a little bit to the handicapper, I don't know, but it would be interesting, I think, if he lines up. But there we go. So we've done the pipe already, which is a bit mad, but it's good fun, isn't it? And we got the pretty prices. So yeah, we won Rock Dino, The Passing Wife, and Los Blanco. That's like a pipe team, okay. If you like me, and you know, Dan's got the favourite that a paid denom that won on Saturday in that, you know, torrential sort of heavy conditions. over 3 mile. If it comes up that sort of ground, he'd be handicap. I only put him up 5 to 129. I mean, really, you'd have thought watching him there, he'd be going up near a 10. Probably he's still well handicapped. He is. Your best price is 8 to 1 non runner now bet for him. You may want to get him on side. I'm going to have a little bit of change on him, just to get my stake back anyway. But if it came up like not heavy, if we're sort of good to soft, I'd be happy enough to take him on. I think, that were 3 mile heavy ground. I think some of these horses we backed here, Los Blanco, The Passing Wife, Rock Dino, I think they may be a bit classier, to be honest. Okay. But yeah, if it came up a bog, I mean, you'd have to want him on side, wouldn't you? He stays further and he's well handicapped still. Okay. So there you go, an hour and 20 minutes. That was some ramble, weren't it? I think we've had another sort of 30 points or so on there. So, but I'm happy with that approach. We've sort of gone a bit quiet through the season, and now we got the non-runner now bet, and we're getting a bit closer. We can start to cover it off a bit more, can't we? Okay. All right. That's the lot then. So I'll see you again soon. I'll pop back next week. So if you got this far, well done. Well done. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. And I'll see you again soon. All right. All the best. Bye.